Yeah, so getting ready for the race was a little different. I kind of rode out solo, made it there. We were a little early before the rain got there, got all set up. Car was feeling good. You know, we did all our prep work. I spent a lot of time talking to people, trying to make the car perform a little better on a short course. I've never raced a short course before. But typically at Ultra 4 races, our qualifying for the race has a little short course in it, and the car's always been a little on the edge of, a little on the sketchy side, to try and put a solid qualifying run down to try and get that pole position. You have to drive the car a little bit past its limits. So we ended up making a few changes. We lowered the car about 2.5 to 3 inches all the way around. You know, mess with some rate nuts. Just try to do anything I could to make the car perform. This race was really intended to be more of a practice for my Central Series points. Our Joker is actually going back to Beech Bend Raceway. So I kind of wanted to go down there, shake the car out, learn a little bit for myself, because I definitely need to learn about this kind of racing if we're going to be doing it a lot. I'm definitely more so the issue here than the car. So I'm just trying to learn, you know, how to get the feeling back. Because in the rocks and in the woods, I can feel the car. I know what it's doing. I know how it's reacting. I know if I have a tire come off the ground, I can feel it. When I get onto a short course, I lose that feeling. So I added a front sway bar to the car, lowered it, did a whole bunch of stuff to try and go out there and, you know, improve. You know, everything was going good. We had a small little hiccup with a sensor failure right before the race. The throttle position sensor actually went bad. It went good from, you know, we went down to the White Squirrel Brewery for the meet and greet. Car was running great. You know, we drove it through town and parked it at camp. Next morning went to start it up to go practice, and it wouldn't run. And it really threw me for a loop. Luckily, even though my co-driver Johnny couldn't make the race, I got him on the phone. Jason from Wide Open Designs, he came over there instantly. All the guys kind of came together. Justin Myron with Myron's Garage Racing helped out. Started doing some diag. We checked some wires, made sure that was all good to go, and it ended up being the sensor was bad. So kind of a stressful moment right before you're about to go practice and the car won't even run. Totally a fluke deal. I have every spare sensor for the car on the car at all times for, you know, endurance style racing, but that's just the one thing I didn't have. So luckily Chris Hickman was there. I told him what part number I did. We did some hunting, and he, while I'm stripping the car down and taking the interior out to get to it, he ran to town, grabbed the parts I needed, and by the time I had it apart, he had the parts. We threw the new part on, fired the car right up, and I think we had about 10 minutes to spare to go out on our practice session. You know, I don't like doing stuff like that. Being rushed definitely is not good for your mind when you're about to jump into the car. But we went out there, we threw down some good practice laps. The course was nice and wet from the previous rain we had, so, you know, the car was, I thought it was a great improvement. And we were sliding around corners, and the car was going where I wanted the car to go. Went great through the rocks. The tires held up amazing. You know, I believe, like, being able to hit the rocks in that style of racing, since personally me, I'm not as fast on the course as I should be yet. So being able to hit those rocks as hard as possible and having the confidence that, you know, I'm not gonna have tire issues or anything like that was a big bonus for me. Yeah, so practice went well. Went back to camp, checked all the fluids, you know, did the normal after you beat the car up kind of thing. And we got hit with a little bit of a curveball. There was some heavy weather coming in, which at the end of the day ended up being the best decision because the next morning the whole course was underwater. We're at the driver's meeting. It's about 12 o'clock, and they said we're no longer going to have qualifying. We're going to be going straight into the prelims. So I had about 25-30 minutes to do all the stuff that I was going to do the rest of that day and the next morning in about 25 to 30 minutes. So I looked over the car best I could. I topped it off with fuel. Just checked everything I could check in 25 minutes. As I was getting up to the line, it felt good. It was a completely random starting order. Since there was no qualifying, they kind of just, I'm not sure how they did it, but they did it. So we started out, we're on the starting line, car's running amazing. We ended up, I think we were the 4th or 5th car back, and the start was great. I think the first 30 feet of the race, we ended up in 2nd place. And we were putting a great run down. The car was performing just like it was in qualifying. And the big Talladega turn, there was a car on the outside. I was going on the inside. The course had dried up, and I just wasn't prepared for it. My mind wasn't there. I wasn't thinking. Came around that turn and barrel rolled the car pretty good. Luckily, it landed on its wheels, and I think 2 or 3 cars had passed us, so we still had 3 or 4 cars behind us. I knew at that point I'm going to have to slow my pace down. Something's not right. I'm overdriving the car. The course has changed. Just wasn't something I was paying too much attention to. Right before the rocks, coming around that turn, I'm not sure if the changes I made, I lost the feeling in the car of knowing where the car's at, how the car's going to react, what the car's going to do. So coming into that turn right before the rock section, it ended up tipping on its side again. And that time it did not land back on the wheels. So the Ultra 4 recovery team, they were out there in seconds making sure I was okay. And I told them I'm done. Like, something's obviously not right. There's no point in keeping going just to hurt the car or myself. So I had them just pull me completely off course. I didn't want to, we had sat upside down for a decent amount of time, so I didn't want to risk hurting the motor or anything like that. So they towed me back to my pits. We looked the car over, got the car fired back up. Everything was good. I mean, 2 pretty good rollovers. The first one was pretty violent, and the car held up amazingly. So at that point, I had to go back to the drawing board and figure out what changes I made that had made the car worse. I had a few guys come over and help me with some ideas, and we just did some thinking on it. Watched some other guys racing, watched some videos of how the car was reacting. I ended up removing the front sway bar that I had added, and we ended up dropping the front suspension some more, try and get it a little more closer to the ground. At that point, I was pretty hesitant. This race was kind of an add-in race. It wasn't supposed to be on my schedule. So I didn't want to, in my head, I didn't want to take a chance of tearing the car up in the main and not being able to race the full Central Series. Really just got in my own head on that part. So since I didn't finish the prelim, I ended up starting in the rear of the main, and just right off the bat, I could tell I wasn't completely in the right mind. I wasn't hitting the turns like I had before. I was driving slow, and my end goal was I just want finishing points and to get across the finish line. So we're putting laps down, lap after lap. The car's feeling good. I'm getting my confidence back a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, it went great in the main. Just me slowing my pace down ended up being more beneficial for me. Yeah, and we came across the finish line. I had no clue how we did or anything like that. You know, I just drove on back to camp. You know, I had no clue. You know, the end results. You know, I was happy to finish, and I was happy to get my points. We get back to camp, and I'm kind of assessing the earlier morning's damage a little more because I didn't really have a whole ton of time to look into it, and just thinking about how we can make this car better and faster, and what kind of stuff we're gonna have to do when we get home. And it ended up being, I got a text message I didn't even know I ended up getting 3rd place in that race. So just slowing my pace down, not overdriving the car, and keeping it together ended up being what got us to that 3rd place for this race. All right, so we just want to say a big thanks to all our sponsors that keep us going. Without them, there's no way we can do this, from driving all over the country to getting the cars ready for racing. Without that side of it, there's no way we can do what we want to do and do what we love to do. So big thanks to everyone that helps us out.